Good afternoon and welcome to Grace and Gavel, where truth meets compassion. Today we're talking about Richard Ramirez, chaos, fear, and what happens when evil is no longer hidden. When the mask is gone. Some crimes disturb us because they challenge our assumptions. Others terrify us because they destroy them entirely. The case of Richard Ramirez belongs to the second category. There was no charm to unravel, no respectability to expose, no privilege to interrogate. What made Ramirez different and uniquely frightening was that he did not pretend to be safe. And when evil stops disguising itself, society responds very differently. Who he was seen as and why it mattered. Ramirez did not blend in. He did not cultivate trust. He did not rely on credibility. He did not attempt to appear ordinary. From the beginning, he was perceived as chaotic, unstable, and threatening. And paradoxically, that made him easier to recognize and harder to stop. Because when danger feels everywhere, people panic. And panic does not produce clarity. Randomness as a weapon. When defined, Ramirez's crimes were not just brutality, it was unpredictability. Victims were different ages, different genders, different neighborhoods, different circumstances. There was no single profile that felt protective. Windows, doors, locks, time of night, none of it felt reliable. And that randomness created a specific kind of terror. It can happen anywhere. It can happen to anyone. When fear outruns facts. As the crimes continued, Los Angeles entered a state of collective anxiety. People armed themselves. False accusations spread. Innocent individuals were attacked by fearful neighbors. The city was no longer responding to evidence. It was responding to emotion. And this is the other side of the system's failure. When danger is obvious, we don't hesitate. We overcorrect. The limits of profiling. Ramirez was also exposed the limits of criminal profiling. He did not fit neatly into predictive models. His behavior shifted. His methods evolved. And as a result, law enforcement struggled to anticipate him. This wasn't due to incompetence. It was due to a belief that violence follows patterns we can control. Ramirez reminded everyone that some offenders weaponize unpredictability itself. Public reaction, from denial to fury. Unlike Bundy or Gacy, Ramirez inspired no hesitation once identified. There was no sympathy, no narrative softening, no debate about his potential. The public response was immediate and visceral. When he was captured, crowds gathered, not in disbelief, but in rage. This reaction tells us something important. We are capable of swift moral clarity, but only when danger looks unmistakably dangerous. The system's belief and its warning. Ramirez's capture brought relief, but it also revealed a pattern that runs through every case in this series. When harm looks familiar, we hesitate. When harm looks respectable, we deny. When harm looks privileged, we mitigate. When harm looks chaotic, we panic. None of these responses are ideal. All of them shape justice. The contrast that matters. Ramirez did not succeed because the system trusted him. He succeeded because fear fractured coordination, because panic spreads faster than precision, and because terror makes people reactive rather than strategic. This is the cost of chaos. Not confusion, but collective vulnerability. Closing. What fear reveals about us. The case of Richard Ramirez forces a hard truth. When evil is obvious, we do not become wiser. We become afraid. And fear, like denial, distorts judgment. Ramirez is not the story of deception. He is the story of what happens when there is nothing to hide behind. And in that sense, he completes the arc. Because now, with denial stripped away, we are left only with the question of how the system responds when no narrative can soften the truth. Thank you for tuning in to Grace and Gavel, where truth meets compassion. I appreciate you tuning in. It means a lot to me, your support and all of that. And I just want to say thank you for tuning in. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.